On this episode, we're going to talk about some details on inner fender mods and under engine bay to make the tire fit on after you install our Tacoma IFS kit. Stay tuned. We ended up taking it off the table so everyone could get a look at what it looks like with the front half installed. These are some 18 by 8.5s with a 35 millimeter offset wheel. We haven't finished the back half yet, but let me grab the camera here and I'll show you. We'll do a little bit of walk around here, but this is stock truck in the front. We haven't cut anything, we just installed the suspension. What we're currently seeing here is we got where the tire's hitting. There's a bump in here, and then we're still about 1.5 inches below or up on the chassis from the ground. If you look in the back, we're sitting on the chassis in the back here. It's all the way down, sitting right there. So what we're gonna now look at doing is cutting this inner fender. You gotta raise this inner fender up to allow clearance when it's all the way down. So I think we need to move this up about 2 inches, and that will allow it to sit all the way down. There it is. So on this side, what we gotta move is the battery. There's a battery, the fuse box, I think it's the evap. And then on this side, I think it's just the air cleaner. I think it's cruise control maybe. There's a relay and a few things. I think those are high enough that they can stay where they are, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna get deeper into this and strip all this stuff off so we can see what we're working with and then come up with a game plan. And then we'll come back here and I'll kind of show you what I figure out on as we work on it. So let me put a fender on this side and you can see what it looks like with a fender on. Okay, here we go. Here's with this fender on. Give you a good look at what it looks like. So I mean, that's what we're looking like with no modification. So for some people, I mean, heck, that's not bad. That's tucking a 24-inch tire. It'd be 1.5 inches off the ground. So for no other work than just putting the kit on, that would be what you're looking at. So I'll set the camera here and then got some temporary air. I can air it up and you can watch it cycle up and cycle down just to give you an idea what it's doing. So we got this all stripped out. You can see the washer bottle, air intake, cruise control, relay, wiring kind of pulled back and everything. Got it all stripped down, and so my game plan here is try to almost section this part of the inner fender. So what we're gonna try to do is this is far enough back, so we're gonna come up here with a body saw, cut right along here, right up through this structure, come along, and then there's some structure here that we're gonna leave. So then come across here, straight down, and then come across here because the washer bottle mounts here. So I'm gonna try to preserve all this. I don't know if this is all gonna work right, like I think, but do that and then just be able to take a strip out of this. We're gonna take a 2-inch strip and then slide the whole inner fender up, and then that would move all of this up essentially 2 inches. It's like sectioning, old school sectioning, or body dropping, whatever, like here. So we'll take a 2-inch strip out of there, move this up. These are all fairly vertical lines. So what I was saying, so these are all vertical lines, here and here, hopefully, and then we can just move it up and take a section out of there. So we'll see if that works. Yeah, and then just X, so we're just cutting this 1.5 inches out to be able to section this fender up. So now we can throw the tire back on and test it out. And we just got to make a filler piece that'll just step up. So you just got to make little strips in there. Yeah, I think that should work pretty good. Okay, see how it fits? I got the tire jacked up all the way. Okay, here's test fit number 1. So we're kind of in there. We got some trimming to do because it's not wanting to go further back here. So we're hitting right here in the firewall and then where this grommet is. So we'll trim that out. Then we should be able to shove this back. But it looks like this is gonna work. We're right here. We're right there on our cut line. So that's lining up pretty good and we just barely clear the tire. Might have to just bump it a little bit. So make those modifications and try it again. All right, I think we got a game plan here. So we're fit right back here in this corner. We just got trimmed just a little bit right there to make that flush. It's not held in there and we can move it up. Slide this back and that gives us like, probably 1/4 inch above the tire. And then this will all just fit back in and we'll be able just to tack weld, weld all this back in all the way to here. There'll be a little spot here where it doesn't line up, but that's fine. And then we're still tied against the firewall. And then we just got to make a little thing to go around the grommet right there. That's pretty easy, but then literally the washer bottle will still fit back in, cruise control bolt back on, everything will bolt back on, I'm pretty sure, on this side. So we'll clean this up, get it tacked in, and then test fit it, and then move on to the other side. got it kind of roughed in here. We got some Cleco clamps holding, and some other little sheet metal clamps here holding it. So we're gonna tack this side in and get it set in place, and then go cut the other side, and then be able to set the whole truck down and check all the clearances laid out. All right, so we got them on here, kind of tacked in place so we can check it out, see how they're gonna fit, and see how we've moved them up. This is still gonna come up because it's just kind of hanging, but this side tacked in, you can see where we've moved it up, and then also on this side put the wheel back on. You can see there how much we've moved up the fender, inner fender, and then fits pretty good actually. So now we're going to take it off the jack stands and lay it out and see how it fits. Here's a moment of truth. Air out the front and see if she clears. Nothing like a slow Schrader valve. That's it. Oh yeah, perfect. On the ground. Shoot, we probably got 3/4 of an inch clearance. That can be rolled up a little bit because it's just a flange. I can stick my finger in there, so there's room in there. Oh yeah. Now we got to stick a fender on and see how it looks. How's this other side look? Pretty good, same thing? Same thing. Look at that. All right, so now just gotta make some filler panels for there. Fix a few spots. It's laying frame. Now we got the fender on. black on black, a little hard to see, but look at that. Lay-in frame, unbody dropped, stock bodied with our kit. All we had to do is section the inner fender up 1.5 inches and it lays frame. Full use of travel. And then we're gonna come back here, finish the back half, and we'll have fully functioning suspension on this Tacoma. So stay tuned. We'll do a little bit more here, a little cleanup work, filler patches, but it's gonna mostly look factory. So one thing, passenger side, no big deal. Everything fits easy. It's actually pretty straightforward. Like I talked about before, little filler panel here, and a little bit back in this spot, a little strip for filler panel, then that's about it. Driver's side, there is this little indentation here that pokes down, and that is, so we got a bunch of clearance here, but it is hitting the back of the tire back in there. It's kind of hard to see, a little bump. So, and the reason for that is the inner fender is now hitting the booster right here, which we knew was a problem. But that's also why we make a booster delete kit to change this all out. We're going from a power brake setup stock to a Willwood Master, delete the booster, and still use the stock pedal. So that'll be an upcoming video. We'll do install on that, but also show that. But remove all this factory stuff, delete the booster, put a Willwood in. It's calculated and proportioned out the bore for disc brakes for our upgrade on our kit, front and rear. It will work with factory rear drums as well, but discs all the way around. So we'll delete that, and then that'll allow this inner fender to come up a little bit more because it's pushed down in the back because it's hitting right here in this corner. So you can see it. That's kind of evident. Right there, you can see the gap. It's not too bad, but it could, in the back, it's all pushed down. So as soon as we get, or you could cut this out, this little bump here, if you want to leave all the brake stuff. But that's your two options. So anyway, there you go. 18-inch wheel, 24-inch tire, just raising the stock inner fenders, lays frame. So we got the inner fenders all welded in. We'll just kind of go over some of the finished product here. So you can see here in the back, we just had to make a little notch here, and then that's all just where we cut it out, welded up. This is where we took the section out. And then the only piece we had to add in was right in here, this little piece as we stepped it up. Then, so this factory would have been down here. So this is our 1.5 inches about section. We took 1.5 inches out of here and moved it all up and then re-welded it. That all gets covered by the fender, and then you can see in here, there's our little step. Factory washer bottle still fits in under here. So that's great. Then you can take this bracket and just cut it right here and cut it in here and move it up. And that will allow this to be reused. That bolts back on. The lines still fit. So this side's pretty easy on the passenger side. On the driver's side, we went with a smaller battery. I'll take that out of the way. So there's the step here, the 1.5 inch step. Factory bottle was over here, but what we figured out is we could use this battery. What's it say? It's like out of a Honda or something, but it's a 51R-75 is the group, and it's perfect. It'll fit right in here and fit just right. So we'll just have to make a hold down. And then haven't got into this yet, but probably just gonna make a little, like this will just be able to screw up in here, just move the hole up a little bit. And then I'm gonna figure out how to make some adapters for the feet on this to make that work, probably just like some little 3D adapters printed, and then We just rerouted some of the lines on the canister and got rid of the canister for the evap system, but it's still all functioning. We just put the inline T here and got rid of the actual canister, and then it just recircs. And then we got our master in there to get rid of the booster, which you can see on the different video. So we have a different video going over all the details on that install as well. So everything's pretty straightforward. Fits really nice. It's just factory. Inner wheel wells just sectioned up a little bit, and that's fitting 18-inch wheel with 24-inch tire, and completely lays out the chassis on our kit and everything. So hope that helps everybody out. If you got questions, hit me up. Follow along, continue as we make more stuff for the Tacoma. See ya.